Hey there guys, this is the Vintage Sewing Machine Garage, and I'm making a video today. This is another one of my purchasing videos. I bought a machine in a case. Now this case is going to need a little love from the that Howard's product that I use. I'm going to have to, but it's intact. It's not broken. Many of them can be. And of course you are looking at the incomparable Singer 201. This particular version is a 201K. It is not a potted motor design. If it had a potted motor, it would most likely have its light fixture on the front, and it was sort of bolted onto the front arm of the machine. But of course this is not. This is a 201K, and well, I say 201K. It's either a 201K, I'm going to check the serial number, which means it was made in Great Britain, or it may have been made in one of the plants in Canada. Now the motor says St. John's, right? And that's Samanco, and it says made in Canada. So the motor was, but don't forget that machines were made in the United Kingdom. They were shipped to both the US and to Canada, and electricals were often added to them. When I got the machine, I looked at it and thought, oh, it's a 201. You know, it's hard for me to turn down any 201. And I started inspecting it, and of course it had some things going on with it that are not surprising in a machine this old. I'm going to guess this is somewhere in the late 40s, early 50s. And so this is the motor belt, and I've shown you guys in other videos how to look for dry rotted belts. Now the belt still functions, and the inner part here, you know, these motor belts have their rubber, and they also have like a cording or fabric in them, so they're pretty strong. But again, I'll be replacing this. You can replace it with a reproduction black rubber V-shaped belt, or you can also replace it with one of the orange lugged belts, which I may choose that as well. I'm not sure. Anyway, just a few little light specks here of corrosion that I'm pretty sure that will polish off just fine. Here you will see I've got the if I put the camera down there, then you can see I've got the here are the motor leads, and then we have the leads to the light fixture. They've got to be put back into the terminal. And the other thing I noticed about the machine is the cord. Now it has its original cord and plug. I say original because Singer would create, of course, a 2-wire cord, and each wire has its own insulation, but then they would wrap a bigger piece of insulation around both of those to form the cord. And, you know, one of the things I've talked about in the past is if you're trying to figure out if your cord's any good, you can't just look at one area. Like, you might see one part of it that seems nice and flexible, and you think, oh, that's not bad. Well, in fact, it is. If we look closely in the light, in other areas of the cord, especially the areas near the plug where people handle it, wherever the cord may have had to bend, okay, you want to look there, because that's where you're going to see some of your basically aging. And there it is. Notice when I came down here to the plug-in, right, look at that, okay. Now what you're seeing is that white is the insulation that's around one of the wires, but that tells you that this cord is really not in the best of shape. Here's another section where I'm bending it, and it's really, would it run? I just don't want to do that. Cords are not expensive. You can buy reproductions. This one is one that I may actually rewire because it's a single lead cord. Now, with these machines, with Singers that have this terminal, not just the 201 but other models, you had options. You can have what's called a double lead plug, in which case 2 cords come out of the plug. One goes to the wall with, you know, where it gets its power, and then the other cord would go to the foot pedal. Now, this one is a single lead, and that's because this machine was originally wired, the foot pedal was wired directly to the terminal. Okay, and that's another way you could do this. Singer often used that feature in their tables because they, you know, they wanted to make things look tidy, and you know, they wanted to hide the fact that it was a machine, I think. Anyway, I have tried in the past to rewire double lead plugs like this, and it can be very difficult just trying to keep everything together. It's kind of tight, but I'm going to give it a shot. I may give it a shot with this one and simply give it a new cord but keep the plug, and we'll take a look at the inside of these wonderful old Bakelite plugs, and as long as it's not cracked or damaged, again, you inspect it. The inside of these plugs is just amazing, the quality. It's all brass inside, which is just amazing. You know, the care and the quality, even to something as unexciting as an electrical plug. And of course the brass, you have the brass pins here in the terminal. But anyway, I got this machine because I went through a time where I was finding lots of 201s. And this one looks to be in pretty nice shape. It's got some nice shine. There's a few scratches there, but it's not too terrible considering its age, and it has the black, you know, the black Japanning finish that Singer's had, and you know, it's not the most durable of finishes. It can be, but you know, machines, you know, they sometimes have rough lives, but this one, as far as I can tell, was treated fairly well. It will go through the whole process I take every one of my machines through, and I'll be overhauling this as well. And if you, well, this is actually resting on top of this. The pins in this actual case need to be reconfigured a bit. But we have our bobbin winding spool pin. We have our spool pin up top. Everything that I know that needs to be here is here. I'm seeing all of my thread guides. I don't see anything missing. You can get them if they're missing. Don't panic if yours is missing. But, you know, I don't expect to be slowed down by that. But you never know. And we've got our straight stitch foot there. So anyway, just wanted to show this to you guys. Again, I almost never pass up an opportunity to overhaul a Singer 201. They are arguably one of the finest sewing machines ever made, period, in history. And again, this is the opinion of many people, not just, you know, some guy who restores sewing machines like me. They are incredible and magnificent. No one in the world makes a home sewing machine anywhere in the world to this quality. It just doesn't happen anymore. But thankfully, they sold a bunch, so there's a lot out there. So don't despair if you realize you can't buy one brand new, but you can find them and you can restore them. Anyway, just wanted to show this to you guys. This is one of the last of the machines I'll be overhauling in 2020. Depending on my schedule, by the time we get into the first of 2021, it will be spring before I start really searching for and overhauling more machines at that point, because going into winter, you know, we're not bringing folks indoors in the house, so that's going to, you know, that'll slow that down. But that's okay. There are a lot of machines out there that you guys can find. But how nice that I get one of my last machines of 2020. I get to overhaul a 201, and you will find plenty of videos, including mine, but lots of other folks who extol the virtues of this magnificent piece of equipment. It makes one stitch, a lock stitch, and it goes in reverse. You think, well, so what? Well, if you really are into the artisanal quality of a sewing stitch, even if you don't have a 201, see if you know someone or a friend that will let you try it out, and just take a look at those stitches and listen to the sound that the machine makes. It is a thing to behold. And I'm not even a sewer, so you know, that's just me geeking out on these wonderful machines. I'm not a sewer, a professional sewer, the way you guys are, some of you, but anyway, I couldn't help but show it to you. She's got gorgeous shine. I think it's going to clean up really well. What you're seeing here is dust. Sometimes you're just seeing scratches and scuffs, but this is actually mostly dust. I can still see a reflection in this finish. So we're going to honor the people that designed this, the people that essentially produced it, engineered it, bought it, took care of it, and we're going to restore it and getting it back to working the way it was designed to. I appreciate all of you watching, everyone, and stay tuned. I think I have one or two more purchase videos to talk about before we get into the end of 2020. Thank you.